War for the kingdom of Yah.
Today's lesson. Valentine's, the ostentatious love. For those of you who may not have the correct understanding of what ostentatious is, and ostentatious love, meaning vulgar or pretentious display. It is designed to impress or attract notice, but yet it is worthless. That is the meaning of ostentatious. So it is this ostentatious love is the very essence and the meaning of how love is utilized and applied today. It is the very essence of how love, false love, is utilized and applied today. Love, according to the world, is ostentatiously pretentious. It doesn't stand the test in time, brothers and sisters. It is a temporary display. And the weight of this type of love is not real. This particular type of love, it genders deception, lies, fears, doubt, insecurities, and all of these qualities breed sin. They breed hate, and it generates sin. There is no true love, brothers and sisters, without the wisdom and knowledge of the Most High God. He has to teach us how to love. A lot of that particular statement will go over a lot of folks' head. The Most High has to teach us how to love. We can't love without the knowledge of, and understanding and the wisdom of the Most High. Let's go to Psalms 119. Psalms 119, give me verses 33 and 34.
Psalms 119, 33 and 34. He teach me, O Master, the way of thy statutes, and I shall keep it unto the end.
And I'll keep it to the end. You teach me, and I'll keep it to the end. The Most High don't come down from heaven and teach people. He sent men to teach people. So if you're waiting to get sitting at home, waiting for the Most High to come down and teach you, it's just not going to happen. He sent men that he has set up. He has sent men that he set up to teach you. Verse 33, 34.
Give me understanding,
and
I shall keep thy law.
Come on.
Yea, I shall observe it with my whole heart.
So when I observe with my whole heart, I can't and I won't, Shalom. I can't and I won't be deceived by a multiplicity of lies. These holidays, or shall I say holidays, these holidays are built upon a lying deception and the worship of idols. I mean, every last one of them, brothers and sisters, without exception, every last one of them. Christmas and Easter and Thanksgiving and Memorial's Day and every other day you could think of. If it hasn't been sanctioned by the Most High, then these holidays are built upon a multiplicity of lies. Let's go to Psalms 101 and 7.
The book of Psalms, chapter 101, verse 7. He that worketh deceit shall not dwell within my house. He that telleth lies shall not tarry in my sight.
Mm-hmm. Read it again.
He that worketh deceit
Mm-hmm.
shall not dwell within my house.
So if you work deceit, that means you practice at this deception. Come on.
He that telleth lies shall not tarry in my sight.
And if you have a false witness, or you have a false belief system, the Most High says you won't even tear before his sight. Now that we know what the Creator doesn't want, we have to search the scriptures to find out what is expected. What do you want? We understand and we know what you don't want. We have to understand what it is that you do want. Let's go to John, the 13th chapter. The 13th chapter of John.
13 and what?
Start at verse 34 and 35.
John 13, 34 and 35. A new commandment I give unto you, that ye love one another, as I have loved you.
This is Yahweh Shai talking. He said, I give you a new commandment, that you love one another, just like I have loved you. Come on.
That ye also love one another.
That you also love one another. Come on.
By this shall all men know that ye are my disciples.
One of the most important scriptures in the Bible is that one right there, because that is an identifying factor as to who is a believer in the Messiah. That is an identifying marker right there. And I will dare say that most of the people you see do not believe this. They do not display it, at least, with one another. If it did, it wouldn't be so much strife in Israel. There wouldn't be so much conflict. Because there wasn't any confusion when Yahweh Shai was in the midst of his brothers, and he said, I need you to act like me, believe like me, do what I do what you've seen me do, right? And the only way that we know that you my disciple is that you have love for one another like I had love for you. This is not ostentatious love. This type of love right here is not ostentatious love. There's nothing fake about it. This is some heavy love. It got some weight to it. Let's see, or let's get to.
Let me finish that up.
Did we finish it?
No.
Verse 35 again.
By this shall all men know that ye are my disciples, if ye have love one to another.
If you got love one for another, men gonna be able to identify. Hey, them brothers right there, those are the disciples of the Mashiach right there. Them brothers right there, they follow the Mashiach right there, because look how they deal with one another. Look how they respond to each other, right? So let's see what is the evidence of the Mashiach's love, and what does he expect from us? Let's go to Galatians. Galatians 5 and 22. We're going to read on down to verse 26, but this is the expectation, and this is how Yahweh Shai dealt with his taught ones. This is how he dealt with his taught ones, and this is your expectation. Come on.
Book of Galatians, chapter 5, verse 22. But the fruit of the Spirit is love.
The fruit of the Spirit is love. So if you don't have no love, then you don't have the Spirit. If there's no love there. Because the love is the evidence that the Spirit is there. Come on.
Joy.
Joy. If you run into Israelites that's always miserable, then you must don't have no spirit there, because you're supposed to have love as evidence of the Spirit. You're supposed to have joy as evidence of the Spirit. Come on.
Peace.
Peace. If you always in the midst of confusion, then there was some evidence that, the Spirit might not be working with you. You never got any shalom at all. You're always in an uproar. Come on.
Long suffering.
Long suffering. Come on.
Gentleness.
Gentleness. Read.
Goodness.
Goodness. Come on.
Faith.
And faith. All of which the Messiah displayed. He displayed and he shown by example to his brethren. This is the way I love my taught ones, and this is what I'm expecting of you. Read on down.
Meekness.
Mm-hmm.
Temperance.
Come on.
Against such, there's no law.
There's no such law against these things, because you wouldn't break none of the laws against your brethren. If you was long suffering, if you had goodness in you, if you had meekness in you, and temperance. Come on.
And they that are the Mashiachs
Come on.
have crucified the flesh with
Come
with the affections and lust.
With the affections and lust. This is the same attributes that Yahushua had. The same ones. These are the same attributes that he lived by, and these are the same attributes that he displayed before his brethren, and this is the evidence that you are walking in the Spirit with him. The very next verse, watch this, very next verse.
If we live in the Spirit,
if we live in the Spirit, come on.
Let us also walk in the Spirit.
Well, let us also walk in the Spirit. We should be displaying the evidence of what we're reading here. If we live in the Spirit. Come on.
Let us not be desirous of vainglory, provoking one another.
Come on.
Envying one another.
You see a lot of this within the Israelite community. I'm gonna tell it to you straight. Some of you Negroes are lying to us and to yourself. You are non-believers. Some of you are hateful, envious, spiteful, mean, nasty. You won't suffer along with one another. Your faith is limited. Some of y'all don't have the Spirit. I'm just telling it to you straight. I don't care if you don't like it. We on social media platforms. Yeah, I'm talking to you. You don't have no Spirit in you. You're a liar. Let's go to 1 John. It's, it's a sad state that we in when brethren, you don't see the evidence of you being a brother. We just don't see that. But we have to stop fooling ourselves and stop lying to one another. No, that brother is out of the truth. He's not in the truth. Let's just tell it like it is. That's a demon with fringes on. That's a demon right there. We got to just tell it like a TIL. You think they was walking around with fringes on when the Mashiach was here? And you think some of them, he wasn't calling them demons out of them folk who knew they was Israel? Who you think he was casting them devils out of? Who you think he chose amongst the 12? He said, I chose 12 and one of you are a devil. I chose a devil when I chose the 12. He was in here too. When he sent them out 2 by 2, the devil went out 2 by 2 too. He went out 2 by 2. He was out there teaching and witnessing in Yahushua's name. The devil was. Y'all think about that. Just because you got men and brethren that's running around here got their Bible open don't mean they ain't demons. I'm not listening to your words. I'm watching your character, brother. I'm watching what you saying to me, how you treating me, how you respond in certain situations. That's what I'm looking to see if the spirit is truly on you. Because now I know it's not, because now you're doing something that Yahushua wouldn't do. No, you ain't walking in the spirit. You either need work or you got a demon on you. So I have to watch you closer. 1 John 5. 5 and 2, verse 2. Start at verse 2.
1 John chapter 5, verse 2. By this we know that we love the children of Yah. When we love Yah and keep his commandments.
You love Yah. If you love him, you're going to keep his commandments. Read.
For this is the love of Yah, that we keep his commandments. And his commandments are not grievous.
His commandments are not grievous. So when he tell you that Valentine's Day is off, for most of you ladies, you can't be expecting them chocolate covered strawberries. They nasty anyway. I want them chocolate covered strawberries and some roses. That's ostentatious love. It doesn't stand the test of time. The strawberries can be eaten and them roses gonna fail. But true love lasts forever. It stands the test of time. Read on.
For whosoever is born of Yah overcometh the world.
Come on.
And this is the victory that overcometh the world, even our faith.
Love for Yah and the keeping of the commandments overcomes the world. What overcomes the world? The love you have for the Father and the love you have for each other overcomes the world. Because this world operates in ostentatious love. Because this world operates in ostentatious love, the commercial industry, brothers and sisters, during the Halal days, these holidays, and days like Valentine's, make billions of dollars, all based upon the principle of false love. It is not true love. It's based upon the principle of false love. They create a market for it. Check it out. They create a market for it. Then they create the demand for it. Then they push the narrative, and you and I, we have to buy into it. Now our people are involved in strengthening our enemies economically. And it's all based on something the Father has commanded us not to celebrate anyway, but they make millions of dollars off of it. It's an industry. Trust and believe. If they didn't make millions of dollars off of it, you wouldn't see it no more. The only reason you see holidays pop up every year is because they make money off of it. And they have an agenda behind it. The world, in conjunction with many commercial industries, try to maneuver our people by appealing to their lust and by nurturing their proclivities. They nurture the lust and their proclivities, the desires, the things they want to be involved in. They nurture that. So-called Black Americans hold 4% of wealth and make up 13% of the population. However, Black people spending power reaches a record 1.6 trillion. We tap into these vanities. We tap into these different markets, but we don't have nothing for ourselves. We enrich our enemies while we remain impoverished. by doing something and participating in something the Most High told us not to do in the first place. I want you to think about the irony of that. The Most High said he commanded us not to keep these different Halai days. We do it anyway, and we enrich our enemies all at the same time. They kill two birds with one stone, so to speak. Let's get 1 John 2 and 15. 1 John 2 and 15.
1 John chapter 2, verse 15. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world.
Come on.
If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him.
If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. Read verse 16.
For all that is in the world,
For everything that is in the world outside the commandments of the Most High, for all of the things that are outside the mind of Yah, read.
the lust of the flesh,
The lust of the flesh.
the lust of the eyes,
Come on.
and the pride of life
The pride of life. Read.
is not of the Father, but is of the world.
But it's of the world. There are examples of the temptation of the pride of life that occurs throughout the Bible. The scripture proclaims that the pride of life is the beginning and the end of all evil or all wickedness, because it attaches itself to idol worship. These three things: the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, the pride of life. So let's run to Genesis right quick, and we see where it first happened at, and this began the fall of man in Genesis 3 and 6. Let's go there right quick.
Genesis 3, verse 6. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food,
she saw that the tree was good for the food, so it was appealing to the appetite. It refers to the lust of the flesh. Read on.
and that it was pleasant to the eyes.
You think that it was pleasant to the eyes, or it was desirable for her eyes. So this is the lust of the eyes. Come on.
And a tree to be desired to make one wise.
And a tree to be desired to make one wise is she to perceive that the fruit will make her wise. And in her disobedience and rebellion, this is the essence of the pride of life. Finish out the script.
She took of the fruit thereof and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her. And he did.
And he did eat, and he took on that lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life. She taught it to him. The pride of life is going to keep a lot of brothers and sisters out of the kingdom, because your pride dictates whether or not you can humble yourself down to hear what's being taught. If no one could ever teach you, because you heard me say that in the beginning, the Most High used men to teach men. The Most High himself is not going to come down and teach you. He used other men to teach you. And if you can never be taught, you are into the pride of life. You don't want to hear, just like Eve and Adam. They didn't want to hear the Most High. They heard something else, and took it upon themselves to be in rebellion, outright rebellion. All right. Let's go to Hosea 4 and 1. Before we get to brother Valentine. How many of y'all know that Saint Valentine was a black man?
God.
Y'all know that?
Yeah, I know
it. Let's get Hosea 4 and 1.
The book of Hosea, chapter 4, verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
Hear the word of Yah, ye children of Israel. For Yah have a controversy with the inhabitants of the land, because there's no truth.
There's no truth.
Nor mercy.
No mercy.
Nor knowledge of Yah in the land.
No knowledge of Yah in the land. This is the problem. There's no truth. There's no mercy, and there is no knowledge. We have to learn to accept the truth, brothers and sisters, because of course the truth is what makes us free. The knowledge of that truth is what makes us free, right? So who is St. Valentine's, and what is St. Valentine's Day? So according to Wikipedia, now with Wikipedia, you always have to check their sources, always, and I did. But Wikipedia, however, was the easier one to read. That's why I'm reading from Wikipedia. Now, according to Wikipedia, St. Valentine's was a clergyman, either a priest or a bishop in the Roman Empire who ministered to persecuted Christians. Now, the time frame in which St. Valentine lived was the Byzantine Empire time frame. You had two Romes. You had a Western Rome and you had an Eastern Rome. If you cold, you can cut the heat. So you have a Western Rome, you have an Eastern Rome, right? So the Western Rome was primarily fought between the Israelites and the Edomites on the Western side. So sometimes you will have Edomites ruling, other times you will have Israelites ruling. Now, Edomites is another term we use for white people, for those of you who may not know. The Byzantine Empire, however, was solely ruled by Black Israelite people. And then once the Western Rome was fully taken over, Israel for 1,000 years fully ruled the whole of Europe for a while. As a matter of fact, there were two Constantines. You need to get a book, and you can write this down. You can get this book called The Two Constantines. It was two families of Constantines. One was an Edomite family. The other was an Israelite family. All right. Let me read further. Now, St. Valentine's was martyred and his body buried in the Christian cemetery on Via Flamia, close to the Ponte Milvo. That's in North Rome, or Northern Rome, on February 14th, which has been observed as a feast for St. Valentine's. It's been observed since 496 AD. This is 200 years after his death. 200 years after the death of St. Valentine's, they begin to celebrate a day, the day of his death, on February 14th. Now, when I talk about this, it's always important to separate the celebration of St. Valentine's Day festival from the actual St. Valentine's, the man, because historically they could be no more different than water and oil. There was two separate things altogether. You have, on one hand, you have a so-called, they call him an African in many historical sources. They call him an African. You have a Black Israelite Byzantine pope, or a clergyman or bishop who served on the continent of Africa. On the other hand, hundreds of years later, you had a particular people on the day of his birth, on the day of his death, begin to celebrate what we now know as Valentine's Day. Okay. All right, let's see who was in the Northern Africa area. Did I read the rest of that? Let me make sure I read the rest of that. Hold on a second. Now let me read the rest of this article. In fact, there were three men known as St. Valentine's. The African martyr, who is at least well known. There were no romantic associations attached to his legend. And beyond his martyrdom, in what is now North Africa around the year 270. Remember, I just said it was 200 years later they started to celebrate the day. Israelites was on the continent of Africa, maneuvering on the continent of Africa well before Rome was established. The empire was the empire well before the Roman Empire. Even during the Babylonian Empire, Israel was establishing colonies and was setting up communities in North Africa, right? So let's go get that proof in the Bible. Let's go to Jeremiah 42. Jeremiah 42 and 15.
Jeremiah 42, verse 15.
Mm-hmm.
And now, therefore, hear the words of the Most High, ye remnant of Judah. Thus saith the Most High of hosts, the power of Israel, if ye wholly set your faces to enter into Egypt and go to sojourn there,
Read.
then it shall come to pass that the sword which you feared shall overtake you there in the land of Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
And the famine whereof you were afraid shall follow close after you there in Egypt, and there you shall die.
Mm-hmm. Read on.
So shall it be with all the men that set their faces to go into Egypt to sojourn there. They shall die by the sword, by the famine, and by the pestilence, and none of them shall remain or escape from the evil that I will bring upon them.
So the Most High was punishing the southern kingdom of Israel, right? And they said, we're going to get up out of here. We're going to run back down to Egypt. He said, no, it's going to follow you there too. It's going to follow you there. So when the Bible refers to Egypt, it is not only talking about the land borders of Egypt we see today. It's talking about the northern Egypt. I mean, what was known as Northern Africa, which encompasses Libya as well. Because Egypt, remember, was a great power. It was a great power, and it had vast amounts of land in that area. So when the scripture refers to Egypt, it's talking about basically the whole northeast corner of the continent of what's now known as Africa. Where do we leave off at?
18.
All right, read on.
For thus saith the Most High of hosts, the power of Israel, as mine anger and my fury have been poured forth upon the inhabitants of Jerusalem, so shall my fury be poured forth upon you. When you shall enter into Egypt, and you shall be an execration, and an astonishment, and a curse, and a reproach, and ye shall see this place no more.
Meaning you're not coming back to Israel, you're going to die in Africa, what's known as the continent of Africa. So since you want to be there, I'm going to chase you there with these curses, and that's where you're going to live, and that's where you're going to die. Come on.
The Most High have said concerning you, O you remnant of Judah, go you not into Egypt. Know certainly that I have admonished you this day.
So the Most High said, don't go there. But if you go there, these curses going to chase you there, and you ain't coming back home. You're going to remain in Egypt. That's where you're going to be. Let's see what they did, because we are stiff-necked people. Let's see what we did, because we went there anyway. We disobeyed the Most High. We fled to Egypt, Africa. We sojourned there. We set up villages, communities, and kingdoms. We were there. I'm saying that because this is where St. Valentine descend from. You descend from the same area. Go to Jeremiah 43 and 5.
Jeremiah chapter 43, verse 5.
Mm-hmm.
But Johanan, the son of Kareah, and all the captains of the forces took all the remnant of Judah that were returned from all nations, whether they had been driven, to dwell in the land of Judah.
Come on.
Even men and women and children, and the king's daughters, and every person that Nebuchadnezzar, the captain of the guard, had left with Gedaliah, the son of Ahikam, the son of Shaphan.
Come on.
And Jeremiah, the prophet.
Come on.
And Baruch, the son of Neriah.
So Jeremiah was there and Baruch was there. All right, come on. Verse 7, what happened?
So they came into the land of Egypt.
So they did go to Egypt. So they came into the land of Egypt. Come on.
For they obeyed not the voice of Yah.
Rebellious. They obeyed not. He said, don't go. They went anyway, trying to get away from the Babylonian captivity. They was trying to get away. They said, we're gonna get up out of here. We're gonna go. And they went on down to Africa. They went on down to Africa. Verse 7 again.
So they came into the land of Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
For they obeyed not the voice of Yah.
Come on.
Thus they came, Salaki. Thus came they even to Tapanhes.
The Tapanhes is northern or northeast Africa. It's northeast Africa. All right. Let's go to 2nd Ezra right quick. And from that point, from there, they migrated out. They built communities. They built villages. They built even kingdoms in Africa. The Israelites did. That's why they were there. We see them represented in Acts 2. Matter of fact, let's get Acts 2 right quick. Let's go to Acts 2. Let's go to Acts 2.
Acts 2 and what?
Acts 2 and 30. No. I don't want that. Acts 2 and 5 or something like that. Acts 2 and 5.
Acts 2 verse 5.
Yeah, it's when they start naming the different countries that the Israelites came out of to celebrate Pentecost.
It's 5.
Okay.
And there were dwelling at Jerusalem Jews, devout men, out of every nation under heaven.
Come on.
Now, when this was noised abroad, the multitude came together and were confused because that every man heard them speak in his own language.
Read.
And they were all amazed and marveled, saying one to another, behold, are not all these which speak Galileans?
One.
And how hear we every man in our own tongue wherein we were born?
Mm-hmm.
Parthians and Medes and Elamites and dwellers in Mesopotamia and in Judea and Cappadocia and Pontus and Asia.
Asia, come on.
Phrygia, Pamphylia, in Egypt, and in the parts of Libya about Cyrene, and strangers of Rome, Jews and proselytes.
What I wanted right there. I wanted Egypt. Go back to Egypt, where it said Egypt and Libya.
In Egypt, and in parts of Libya.
The parts of Libya, come on.
About Cyrene.
Cyrene is the Mediterranean coast off the north coast of Africa. Those islands that's on the sea coast of Africa. Come on.
And strangers of Rome, Jews and proselytes, Cretes and Arabians. We do hear them speak in our tongues the wonderful works of Yah.
So these men and brethren come from Africa, even from the day we're reading here in Jeremiah. Even from that time up until Peter's time, they come up to celebrate for Pentecost, for the Feast of Weeks. Now let's go to 2nd Ezra 16 and 68. I'm just showing you a pattern here of this brother being on the continent of this St. Valentine, being on the continent of Africa. He was of African descent. They say African descent, but he was an Israelite. He was an Israelite of the Byzantine Empire. 2nd Ezra 16 and 68.
For behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you, and they shall take away certain of you and feed you, being idle with things offered unto idols.
The things offered to idol. Many of our brothers and sisters just gave themselves over and consented to worshiping idols, like many of you do. You can't say nothing about them. Many of us here gave ourselves over to worshiping idols, and some of you still do. I know you got that Valentine's Day card. You know you shouldn't have that Valentine's Day card. Yeah, I'm talking to you. You ain't heard from that brother in a long time. Now he come with the Valentine's Day card and the roses. Something is expected too behind that. We're gonna get to it. Verse 69.
And they that consented to them shall be had in derision
Mm-hmm.
and in reproach
Come on.
and trodden underfoot.
And trodden down. Because they gave their consent. All right. Now let's go over to the Encyclopedia Britannica. All right. Because we gave our consent into certain customs that the Most High has ordained us not to. Did not give us those permissions as Israelites. We are not to be dealing with any of these holidays whatsoever. There's no such thing as a small holiday. Well, it's just a wee one. It's just a wee one. And it's just love. It's just talking about love. And I always say this every year. Where did they get this little fat butterball Edomite baby with these little bitty wings on there? It's not aerodynamically correct. There's no way that this little butterball baby could be flying away. And he just shooting there. He's shooting arrows. And they say, oh, it's so cute. But what Cupid is doing, because Cupid is a god of the Greeks, what Cupid is doing is shooting arrows of lust. It's not arrows of love, it's arrows of lust. Because just imagine just think about it every time you've seen a story or a film or something. He shot the arrow, the person was rejected, the person. They got shot with the love arrow, then all of a sudden they got, hearts in their eyes, and they just, ooh. What made them do that? Lust did. They got lust on them now. All right, from the Encyclopedia Britannica. Now, certain customs were adopted by the Greeks and the Romans and the Catholic Church. Lupercus is a Greek god. A hunter of wolves was idolized as a hero who in essence was just another version of Nimrod, the mighty hunter. In honor of the festival of Lupercus, a festival called Lupercalia was instituted every February 14th, where the festivities involved all forms of sexual immorality and debauchery and lewd acts of fornication. This is lust. You're going to do it. There's nothing that Lupercus won't have you do. You will be involved in everything. As we're going to see, and I'm going to show you some imagery, so if you got small children that don't want to see it, by all means, divert their eyes, because we're going to show it. You got all kind of bestiality. This is what Lupercus and Cupid did. You see that sheep over there? Go and get busy with them. And then they would have babies, half men and half goats, and things of that nature. So y'all think these is little small holidays. These is demons. These is demons. We're going to show you. We're going to show you too. According to Valentine's Day, American story this is from the Library of Congress. Your Library of Congress. This is what they got in there. Lupercalia was a spring festival on the 15th of February. With the introduction of Christianity, the holiday was moved to the 14th because they wanted to grab hold to St. Valentine. Remember, St. Valentine died on the 14th. They used to have this celebration on the 15th. But because they wanted to make a connection, they decided to have the holiday on the 14th. Let's get Deuteronomy 32 and 16 right quick. Deuteronomy.
Say again.
Deuteronomy 32, verse 16.
Deuteronomy 32, verse 16. They provoked him to jealousy with strange gods.
Mm-hmm.
With abominations provoked they him to anger.
and provoked them. We still do this today. Our people still do this today. When we get out there and say, hey, listen, you ain't supposed to be serving those gods. You're not supposed to be doing that. They get angry about what you're saying. Yes, they get angry. Oh, y'all go too far. Y'all Israelites are crazy. Y'all crazy. Y'all go too far. No, we don't go far enough. But we know these are spirits that's in operation in the earth. We know what's going on. We know what's happening. When we were children, remember when they first took prayer out of school? Y'all too young for that. But we used to pray in school. Y'all remember that? Every morning we prayed at school. They took prayer out of school and put the holidays in there. We talking about public school. In public school, y'all prayed in public school? Yeah. I know. I know that. Yeah. Well, when we were young in public school, we would pray every morning. They took that out and start, celebrating big ups to the holidays, Valentine's, Easter, things of that nature. But these were the worship of God. They took one form of worship out and implemented other forms of worship in there. Now the schools is, so what? All right. So the Greek god called Lupercus is also known as Pan. Pan was found to be a god of lust and fornication. Now, the reason why I brought up school and children is because Peter Pan was this Lupercilla or this Lupercus god, just under a different name. And remember when Peter Pan who did he have on his island? The Lost Boys. Right, the Lost Boys. We didn't know that this was all kind of sexual connotations that was going on here. We didn't know that. We just little kids thinking we watching cartoons or something. But they knew. They knew what was happening. They knew that Peter Pan was involving himself in all kind of debauchery with these little boys. And when they tried to leave, they made it seem like, he was really doing them some good. When they tried to leave, they couldn't leave. Y'all remember that? They wasn't allowed to leave the island. He held them captive. Right? All right, so let's get some imagery right quick. Let me share my screen. I'm telling you, this thing, the further you get into it, the rougher it gets. I'm telling you. The rougher it gets. Give me a second. I'm trying to pull it up here. All right, here we go. Y'all let me know if it comes up and you all can see it. We up?
Yeah.
Okay. How about Detroit? You see it?
Yeah.
Like I'm sorry, like if your children, if you got small children or something on there, you don't want them to see this. It is graphic, so just be aware that it is. Even on our social media platforms, I told you ahead of time what was going on. So if you look at this half man, half beast animal on the left side, this is Pan on the left side, or this is Peter Pan. Now they dressed him up and had him as a, quote unquote, cute little white kid on the on the shows. But this guy right here is the real Peter Pan right here, the real Pan rather, and he's coercing or lusting after the younger man. Do y'all see that? He's coercing or lusting after the younger man. He was piping to him. Now the young man is playing the flute, so to speak, where he piped, where Pan always piped to the children and they would come. We go to the next slide. This is another depiction of Pan. You see he's piping there. You see the lady in the background. This is another. Pan is a god of lust. Pan, Lupercus, and Cupid is the same god. Just the same god, just a different name for either it was Greek or Roman. Greek or Roman. This is Pan. You see, he's piping. The lady is coming. There's a spirit of lust that's calling her to have relations with this half man, half goat. We'll go to the next one. You'll see another one. And this is how they depicted them. This one right here. She wants him, right? She's lusting after Pan. You see, this is a half man, half goat. You see the horns on his head? Go to the next one. It's also a depiction of bestiality. Bestiality. This is the god Pan having relations. It doesn't matter what he does. It doesn't matter who he does it to. It could be a woman, a man, a boy, a girl, a dog, a goat. It doesn't matter because it is the lust of the flesh. He is consumed with lust. And when he shoots you with his arrow, you are consumed with lust. All right, let me get out of there. Sick. So this god Cupid is all the same gods, Lupercus and Pan. Same gods. Lupercus, who was Cupid, was a hunter of wolves, associated with the Roman god Faunus, a god of agriculture and fertility. Since Rome took its gods from those it conquered, we can trace Faunus to its Greek equivalent Pan, the god of woods, fields, and flocks. The ancients pictured both of these mythological beings as having a human torso, but legs, horns, and ears of a goat. These gods are celebrated around the world and in Christianity. They are observed by people in many countries in the Anglican Communion Church, Christian Church, the Lutheran Christian and Protestant Church, and the traditional Catholicism in the Catholic Church. They are getting ready for their Valentine celebration as we speak. Let's go to Psalms 96 and 5. Psalms 96, verse 5.
Psalms 96, verse 5. For all the gods of the nations are idols, but the Most High made the heavens.
The Most High made the heavens. We do not, nor have we ever served the same God. Our Yah is the creator of heaven and earth, and there's none like him. There's none beside him. And we cannot set these gods before him. Cannot set these gods before him. These are unsanctioned holidays. We have nothing to do with them. Let's go to Isaiah 45 and verse 5. Isaiah 45, verse 5 and 6.
Book of Isaiah, chapter 45, verse 5. I am Yah, and there is none else. There's no God besides me. I girded thee, though thou hast not known me, that they may know from the rising of the sun and from the west that there is none besides me. I am Yahweh, and there is none.
There's none beside him. There's none beside our Yah. Our affections, our desires, our feelings, our emotions have betrayed us, brothers and sisters, taking advantage of our inability to grasp the knowledge and wisdom and understanding contained in the scriptures. Only through these principles we can learn. Only through these principles we can teach. And only through these principles we live. And we see examples of true love. We're almost done here. Let's get 1 John 4 and 16. We're almost done.
First John, chapter 4, verse 16.
16 and 17, read.
And we have known and believed the love that Yah had to us. Yah is love.
He is love, read.
And he that dwelleth in love, dwelleth in Yah.
Come on.
And Yah in him.
Verse 17.
Herein is our love made perfect.
This is how our love is made perfect. The Bible tells us all. This is how we have perfect love. Come on.
That we may have boldness in the day of judgment.
Read.
Because as he is, so are we in this world.
We have to realize, as he is, so are we in this world. It goes right back to Galatians, the 5th chapter. The same spirit Yahweh Shai had is the same spirit we ought to have. Realizing the love of this world only breeds discontent, insecurity, and fear. By observing these unholy days, we either willingly or ignorantly perpetuate sin. And there must be a spirit of repentance that come upon us. We have to repent continually, die daily to these things. All right. We're going to close it out. We're going to close it right there. End it right there. You're watching my social media. We thank you for joining us. We hope that you heard something that you can glean from, something that you can learn
War
from.
for the kingdom
Drop
of
us a
Yah.
message.